UFC bantamweight slash featherweight. You're double dipping, Brian Kelleher. Man, what's going on?
You're right, man. Double dipping. How are you?
Good, good. Now, New York, man, what's the situation like right now over there? It seems like you're living your life normal. Is it normal?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely getting better. I think people are starting to loosen up a little bit more, but still trying to keep it a little bit cautious with who I train with and how many guys there are and stuff like that. But I feel like for the most part, it's starting to loosen up a little bit.
Is each borough in New York different from, like the way that they're handling the pandemic different, or the number of cases different?
I'm not too sure. I don't really get too out of my space, but for the most part, I think it's all aligned pretty similar. I think everyone's kind of moving at the same pace right now. Like gyms just reopened, but there's like a whole system to follow. You wear your mask in there unless you're like going swimming. They got like two lanes open. They got like space in between everything. So it's a little bit different, but they just reopened the gyms, which is nice.
Now, with the gyms reopened and you getting into the flow of camp and everything, what is different about this camp, let's say, because of the pandemic or just adjustments that you have made?
I would say just having a little bit more quality guys to train with. In the beginning, when I first fought during the pandemic, like I didn't really have many sparring partners. I kind of was relying on my brother who used to fight professional. He trains with me a lot. He knows my body, my skills and everything. So I was using him a lot and just kind of going through the motions with like pad work and doing a lot of home workouts, bag work, stuff like that. But then now I've gotten quality sparring sessions every single week leading up to this fight. I would say for the last like four or 5 weeks.
So like leading up to your last fight, that camp, when you look back at that and compare to this, it's total polar opposites?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of difference for sure. I mean, preparation is definitely, for me, I like the short notice because you just don't have time to overthink things and you just kind of like, all right, I'm a fighter, let's go fight. And, I'm always in shape, but there's a difference between like in shape and like fight shape. It's just a whole nother level. So now I would say I'm more in like fight shape where I'm really prepared for a fight I've covered all areas. But for that last fight with Stamen, I went into that one short notice, just like the one before, kind of with the same preparation, like just running, utilizing my brother, pad work, hitting the bag, doing circuits at home. For the most part, a couple of jujitsu, practices here and there with like 3 guys, but it's not ideal. Now it's a little bit better. I've gotten, now it's instead of 3 guys, it's like 5 to 7 guys, quality guys, sparring with 4 different guys that are fresh partners each round, and just the details are just a little bit more specific now, and it's been a lot better for sure.
No doubt. Now, Ricky Simone, you wanted to face him, you got him. What makes this matchup interesting?
Yeah, I think he wanted to fight me too. I saw him mention it a couple times, but I think just both of us know that we're both fighters. We're willing to get in and scrap and exchange in the pocket and make the fight dirty and exciting. I feel like not every fighter's like that. Some guys like to outpoint you and kind of move around and just different styles. But for me and him, I think our two styles make for a fight of the night, performance of the night type of fight, bonus money written all over it, and I think a fan favorite fight as well.
Going back to the last 2 fights, you stepped in on short notice, and in this fight, they give you Simone, and I feel like they're kind of rewarding you for the short notice fights. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I kind of do. I feel like last fight, with Stamen, like it was me taking a fight on short notice, same with him, but, against a top level guy. And I think I performed pretty good. I know I lost, by points, whatnot, decision, but I think my performance showed that I belong, competing with these guys at the top. And I think Ricky Simon, he's been in and out of the top 15. He's a solid fighter. I think they're kind of saying, hey, like let's reset things and give you another chance to prove yourself here with like a full camp.
With Simone. Now, when you look at him, what gives you the edge over him?
With Simone, I think, power. I think I will have a little bit of size, not much, we're pretty similar size, but I've had, recent fights at 45. I know how I feel there. I feel really strong. I feel like I hit harder there. Cardio wise, I feel like we're kind of pretty even. We're both pretty solid guys. I think it's just a really evenly matched fight, to be honest with you. The one thing I could say is I think, submission wise, I hunt for submissions, whereas I think he's more of like a lay on you and ground and pound a little bit, try to hold position. I'm more of like a let me find the finish and snatch your neck and, find something to end the fight. So I would say I would have a little bit of an edge in that aspect of things. As far as striking goes, I feel like we're both pretty kind of similar. We're willing to throw and exchange in the pocket, but maybe he might have a slight wrestling edge or something like that. But I think it'll kind of take place mostly on the feet, and we're gonna have a really exciting striking match here.
Long Island MMA, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Any other spots you've been training at?
No, man. Besides those, just outside with my brother, getting like specific work in, going over game plan stuff and just getting a lot of striking drills and MMA drills with him. Other than that, those two gyms, I've been getting my sparring there, my pad work there, MMA practice, stuff like that. So
Working out outside and people are walking by, do you get some weird like interactions with people like when you're training out there?
you know what? Today, actually, because I worked out at like a park today, like a field, a soccer field, and there was like a young ladies like lacrosse practice going on. They do it at distance, of course. And I'm over there. Me and my brother are exchanging, sweat. People don't know you've been around this person. But I did, like, some guy was walking around the park and like he was kind of looking at me. I'm like, how you doing? He just said nothing back to me. I'm like, oh, that guy doesn't like me. Like, I guess he's upset with something. Now that you say that, he was probably like, what's going on here? Like, these guys are too close.
Yeah, that's yeah. I think like for fighters, you're out there, you're hitting mitts, and and like you said, you're out there maybe even wrestling and throwing each other around, and especially during these times of social distancing and all that. I'm pretty sure some weirdos can come up and start telling you things you already know.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, people don't understand that this is my actual job. Like, this is my career. This is how I make money. I have to do this. But to them, they just see it as like, oh, these two guys are just not taking this serious, and they're just working out like nothing.
So now with this fight, why did you decide, or why did I guess Simone decide that you wanted to fight at 145?
I think it was more me, to be honest. I think he was cool with 135, and like I would have been too. The more time, the better. But with the whole pandemic, like with the beginning of it, the training being different and everything, my body just kind of changed a little. I feel like I started to just gain a little bit of mass, and I was having more trouble getting my walk around weight down lower, where I usually would be is like 150, and I can make the cut to 35. Now lately I've been 155 and I like can't get under there for some reason, no matter what I do, how good a shape I get in. So I was like a little bit worried about 3-4 weeks, and originally the fight was going to be a short notice with Simone. It was going to be August 8th. And then he was like, no, I want more time. So when they came back and they said, no, he wants more time, it's going to be later August. I said, well, it's already, the end of July. Like, can we keep it at 45? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. We'll ask him. And he said yes. So I was like, all right. I to be honest with you, like, no weight cut and not dealing with the stress of that, I feel like it makes for healthier fights, number one, and more exciting fights.
Yes, I think Grant Dawson was another fighter. He usually fights at featherweight. And he said, during the pandemic, man, I'm only fighting at 155. Like, I'm not even going to try to make 145.
It's hard, man. I don't know how some guys are doing it. A lot of guys are sticking in their weight class. But for me, like at the beginning, I was like, man, I'm not going to risk it if I don't have the same quality of training twice a day. My body's going to react different. It's not like I went on a binge eating contest and I just kind of fell off the boat and wasn't taking training serious. It was like the training that I was doing wasn't equaling what I would normally do. And so my body was like, oh, this is different. You're not pushing yourself as much. You're usually grinding with guys in the gym twice a day. Sparring was limited, all these things. And my body reacted where like I started to gain muscle from strength and conditioning workouts on my own. And then I wasn't able to get back down. And it's taking time now to get back down. I think, I'm 34 years old. Age might be a factor. I don't know. But I think if I'm going to go back down to my weight class, at least like give me 6-7 weeks and I'll be fine making the weight.
Do you feel like more powerful when you're cracking the mitts? Do you feel more powerful on the ground, when you snatch up submissions?
Yeah, honestly, I've been feeling so much stronger just for the fact of not having to stress my walk around weight, 3 weeks out, just like cutting carbs and making sure that I'm this weight every single day. The stress of that, honestly, it's overbearing. I think mentally I'm sharper, happier. I'm enjoying the process more, just being able to focus on training only and not like, oh man, I'm 2 pounds heavier today. I got to do something different, and you start stressing out, and you're actually not sure, am I going to make the weight smooth? That's always in the back of your mind. So for me, going into fight week, knowing I'm definitely making weight, I'm good. I'm only 10 pounds over right now. It makes all the difference. I feel like I go into the fight just with more energy, and then it translates physically for sure. Like my pop and my punches and just my wrestling strength and stuff like that has been holding up a lot better than typically going down to 135.
Some guys, you see them go up a weight class and they look flabby. You could tell,
Yeah.
like, it's a
Yeah.
difference. But I've seen your pictures that you've been uploading, and you just look shredded at that weight. It's almost like you should be at 145.
It's weird, man. I know. I notice my body is changing, but it's not a bad thing. It's like I'm getting more muscular, but I'm staying pretty lean. It's just for some reason my weight on the scale is just not like it's not going down. I feel like I have to make like substantial changes in like something, diet or maybe do extra work, or something. It has to make up the difference somewhere, but I feel good. I feel strong. I mean, I'm doing all the work I can. I'm doing the running, the swimming, the extra work, but it's like I can't get under 155 for some reason. So, I mean, the cut to 45 is easy, but to fight real featherweights would be something a little different for me.
So, do you see this fight possibly you could end it early, or do you see Simone being tough enough to last all 3 rounds, or even just try to get a late finish?
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely a tough enough guy to go the distance with. He's definitely willing to take damage to give his own. I don't feel like he's an easy guy to finish by any means. We saw it with Faber. I mean, if you catch him in the right spot, you can
Yeah.
finish anybody. But I feel like Simone is definitely a durable guy. His other fights, he's gotten punched and hit a lot, but he's still in there the third round, willing to exchange and get after it. So I don't expect an easy finish ever, really, especially with this fight. But I do get better as the fight goes on. I feel like I start to find my groove, and I feel like my second and third rounds are always better than the first, and that's where I will try to find a finish.
Speaking of durable, you had your back and forth with Sean O'Malley in the past, and the way that he reacted to losing to Chito Vera. What did you think about that?
I didn't like that at all, man. I feel like, it's one thing if you have a shtick going on like Henry Cejudo, we all get it, it's an act. And, you see how the guy is normally, he's a nice guy. But like with O'Malley, it almost seems genuine that he's discrediting Chito Vera for the win, and that he has this cockiness about him still that, what he said, like, it sucks. I lost to a guy that I don't even view as a good fighter. And like, just the way that sounds, it's just like you don't accept the loss for what it is. And, the ankle thing, it's almost as if like nothing serious even happened to his ankle either. So that it just all makes him look bad to me. The only thing I don't, that favors him is that he can always be like, oh, I fell, it was a fluke, I had an injury in the fight, it would have never happened like that. Like, it leaves the door open for excuses, in my opinion, which I don't like either. So I would have liked to see him face the loss head on, and be show a little bit more humble side of things, and just react differently. But it is what it is. The guy is who he is, and I think it's going to take a couple more losses that maybe might change his attitude a little bit.
I was talking to Kama Worthy about this topic, and he said that coming into the UFC undefeated and kind of getting those quick finishes, it does not help you at all, because once you face adversity, you might not be able to recover, and that could be the case. I don't know.
Oh, I believe so for sure, man. I think like mentally in your mind, you think you're invincible, when you're undefeated, you've never been touched before. And I had this too. I mean, I faced a lot of adversity before I ever got to the UFC, but I was never knocked out. So this happened to me with just being knocked out to John Lineker. It was a huge moment for me to face. I was like, whoa, like I didn't think this was possible. I've had 20 something fights. I fought 45ers, 35ers. I never been knocked out, never been rocked in a fight, in all honesty. So I was like, I had to come to an acceptance with that. It took a lot of time, to be honest with you. And, I had to kind of tune out my thoughts of my future, my health, and all these things start to arise in your thoughts, and it's a tough thing to deal with. And I think same thing for guys that are undefeated, that think they can't be beaten. When they finally lose and it's on the biggest stage, it really is a huge downfall. And I really gain respect for other fighters when they react, how they react to that first loss and come back, and how their attitude changes and how they perform.
You've been on the other end of that, because I feel like the Contender Series, it's a great opportunity for fighters, but at the same time, it also could be something that's not good for them when they enter the upper ranks of the UFC. And you yourself, the Contender Series killer, you've stopped some trains. So one last thing, man, before I let you go, the music career, man. When are we gonna see a mixtape come out?
I don't know, man. Hopefully, I can put more focus into it. I feel like I go in and out of phases. And like especially with these fights, like short notice coming up. Back to back to back. I don't focus on other things than fighting. I'm like so dialed in, training, recovery, relaxation, sleep, everything. Like I don't put my efforts into music as much lately. And I've been thinking about that. I'm like, man, I've been falling off the game. My rap game's going off. I got to get back into it. So hopefully after this fight, I'll have like 2 or 3 months, a little downtime, and be able to put some more time into it. And I think, by next year, I could probably finish a mixtape. I already have a lot of songs done, but it's just like you want it to be right. You want the best work. So I think I need to put a lot more songs out and then pick which ones I want to put, 12 songs or 13 songs on a mixtape and then get it out there. But definitely by next year, I think we'll have something.
Yeah, once you release it, you never know what can come from that, man. I'm excited to listen to your work, man. It's always good to see athletes trying to venture out into new fields, I guess, so to say.
Falling in and out of love. Yeah, that shit's always so funny, man. Hopefully it's better than Tyrone Woodley stuff. I love Tyrone Woodley, but you know the deal.
Yeah, he tried to do that R&B Ja Rule, a little skit, and it didn't work out too well. Now, top 5, dead or alive.
This is a hard one because I feel like growing up, I was huge into Lil Wayne, but I don't know if people consider him that. I would say Jay-Z's up there. I would say B.I.G's up there. I would say Nas. See, I don't have a lot of knowledge on Tupac, but I would say he's up there. That's 4. Let's see. I guess we'll give Lil Wayne the 5 since that was my guy growing up. But it's hard to say because lyrically, some guys are just on another level. Actually, to me, I would throw Eminem in there. Lyrically, I feel like Eminem is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, rappers are like fighters. There's different categories. You know what I mean? It's
different
not
styles.
just different styles, and it's not just about belts. Sometimes it's about, it's not about numbers. It's about
and sometimes it's your connection, to that music. It makes it better, than other people. But with fighters, there's no one style. Oh, you have to fight like this. Tony Ferguson's great, and then some a Dominic Cruz is great. It's just different.
September 5th, man. You're back in the cage, the octagon. Thank you so much, Brian, for the time. It was incredible chatting with you, and hopefully we do many more in the future.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll get one going after the fight.
Hey guys, Sasha Platnikoff here, letting you know to tune in to SCMP post-fight for all your weekly martial arts news.